What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching another video. As you can see again, I'm here with my NA Mazda Miata. I've said nothing about good things with this car. Even in the video that I made, the worst things about the Miata. Obviously, you know, that's just little things here and there that really don't make a big difference on what I actually feel about this car, the way the car drives, the overall performance of this car. And I'm going to be giving you the reasons today why you should buy a Mazda Miata. And again, this is just my opinion. Other people might, you know, think differently, but I think the reasons that I'll give in this video kind of maybe will persuade you as to why it would be a good investment to get one of these now. So let's get right into it. So guys, the first thing, and obviously I would feel like it's the most important part about buying a car, is the price. These cars are very, very affordable for what they are. Now, it really depends, because when you go on places like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, you'll see a whole different barrage of prices of what these cars go for. So it's kind of hard to gauge. You'll see anything from like $1,000 to a really beat up, clapped out one, up to, I've even seen some over $10,000 with, you know, really almost perfect examples of Miatas with under like 50,000 miles. So the price really does depend. In my opinion though, I would say anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 would be a good price range for this car. You can pick up one of these somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 in pretty decent shape for probably somewhere around 100,000 miles. Some people do kind of, you know, bump the prices up just because, again, if you really want something, you'll buy it, and some people aren't in a rush to sell their car. So again, I mean, for what I paid between $3,000 and $4,000 for this one. So just so you guys know, I will be making a video, you know, how much I paid for the car, and once I start getting some mods on it, so I can give you like a overall build of the car. But anyways, anywhere between $3,000 and $4,000, I would say is a good deal. You know, if you spend $1,000, $1,500, you'll probably get something like this. Or if, you know, you want to spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, you'll be able to get an example of something like this. And if you want to spend, you know, between $3,000 and $4,000, you could get one like mine that has under 100,000 miles. It's in almost, you know, I wouldn't say perfect condition, but it's in really, really good condition. I won't say excellent because there are little things here and there, but it's in really good condition, under 100,000 miles, runs amazing. I've put, you know, in the past 2 weeks that I've been driving this car, 500 to 600 miles, so it's been amazing. But anyways, guys, these cars are super affordable. If you want to get something like a, you know, a good example of one, you'll probably spend between $3,000 and $4,000, and you'll get a lot for, you know, a lot of car for what you're getting. So that's the first thing. These cars are pretty affordable depending on what direction you want to go in. Guys, the second thing, and I also think this is pretty important, is these cars are super, super cheap to maintain. Honestly, all these parts, there are in abundance. Like, you can find anything you need whenever, from so many multiple sources, from online, junkyards, again, places like the Facebook Marketplace. Parts for these cars are all over the place, honestly. And they're super affordable. Like, I think in my last video, the little interior goodies that I had done on this car, I ended up spending like $30, something like that, from the, you know, the cup holder, the pedal covers, and the little rubber clutch stop. It was like $30, maybe even a little less, and they were all OEM. So things for this car are super cheap. Oil, I even have some spark plug wires and spark plugs coming in that are somewhere like, I think I spent like $45 or $50, something like that. So that's something to keep in mind, that the maintenance is super top-notch when it comes to this car. And I mean, it's just cheap. It's cheap to maintain, it's cheap to afford, and that's something to really take into consideration when you're buying one of these cars. So maintenance, super cheap, parts are all over the place, and they're easy to get to. So that's another thing. Reason number 3, guys, and at least to me as like a car enthusiast and somebody that really has a hard time keeping their cars stock, is the aftermarket. These cars have a huge aftermarket. The aftermarket support is all over the place. You can find literally anything you could think of for these cars, from suspension, wheels, engine parts, engine swaps. I mean, anything you could think of doing to this car, it's probably been done. And I mean, there's so much information online that, I mean, you will have all your answers in literally a couple of minutes of just searching. it really is amazing. You know, these cars have been out for 30 years now. Mine's a 1990, the first year of the Miata. So these cars have been out for 30 years this year. So there's so much like technology, so many different things that come up when you look up these cars. And like I said, me being a car enthusiast, the fact that there's so many aftermarket things for this car is amazing. And that's something that you should take into consideration as well, because if you're looking to buy one to modify it, this is the perfect car. Like, you can find anything you need. I mean, if you want to do something crazy, you'll probably find a forum online that'll tell you what to do or how to go about it. So that's really important, I think. And again, parts for this car aren't that expensive. Even if it's aftermarket, they're not over the top. They're in the right price range of most aftermarket parts, but it's not something where, you want to do something and it's going to be outrageously expensive to do this, that, and the third. Like, for example, I'm going to be turbocharging this car sometime in the near future, and I mean, I could probably get that done probably somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 with decent quality parts, which to me, that's really not that much money for the performance I'm going to get out of this. So if you're looking for a platform to start where you want to just get into the aftermarket scene, get into the car scene, this is a good car to start with, and you'll be able to get a bunch of different information for this car anywhere you look online. So the aftermarket for this car is huge, and that's a big plus as to why you should buy one of these cars, especially if you're a car enthusiast. All right, guys, reason number 4 is right there in front of you. I think this is such a good looking car. I mean, yes, it is 30 years old, but I feel like it's aged pretty well. I don't know, there's something about the way this car looks that's just kind of timeless. From the pop-up headlights, I know the pop-up headlights are like an old 80s and 90s thing, but I don't know, it just fits in so well with today, especially when you go into modifying them. Just the way you can make these cars look, the way you can make them sound, the performance, it's just, again, it's so appealing. It's such a good starter platform car when it comes to the car scene, trying to do some aftermarket parts and whatnot. I just think this car looks so good. I mean, yes, it is a convertible. I'm not a huge fan of convertibles, but I do feel like this car is one exception that, I don't know, I just feel like it fits in. The convertible doesn't really ruin it for me. And honestly, if you're somebody who doesn't like convertibles, you can always buy a hardtop for it. Yes, the hardtops are pretty expensive, but I mean, overall, it doesn't really take away from the character or the look of the car, in my opinion. And like I said, from the pop-up headlights to just that, these cars have like a natural smile, if you know what I mean, from right there on the bottom. It just, I don't know, there's just something about it. These cars look really good, and I think that's kind of a good reason why you should buy one, just for the price that you'll get one for. They look super good. You get a nice old 90s JDM car that looks amazing, and at least for me, that's kind of a deal breaker. You want a car that looks good, and I feel like the Miata is a really timeless look. It's a great looker, and that's why you should get one. So, guys, reason number 5, honestly, is just this car is an amazing driver's car. The drivability, the handling, the way the shifter feels and all is super, super top of the line, especially for this being a 30-year-old car. I've said it so many times, the shifter in this car is fantastic. It's super notchy. It feels super smooth. You know when you're in gear. It doesn't try and fool you. You never have to second guess what gear you're in because it just feels that good. The handling, I honestly, it's arguably the best handling car I've driven. My Mini, when it was on its old wheels, was pretty close, but I don't know. I really can't compare it because it was such a long time ago that I had, a normal wheel and tire setup on my Mini Cooper, but this is amazing. The way this car feels, I mean, I'll even show you just how it's so satisfying. The shifter is it's honestly probably still my favorite thing about this car, the satisfying clunk that the shifter, I mean, you know you're in gear. It feels amazing. It's super short. The throws are pretty short as well for stock. I mean, for me, the way the car drives is pretty unmatched, and I love it. That's another reason why you should buy this car. It's an amazing driver's car, and I promise you, if you experience one, you're gonna love it. Guys, reason number 6, and I think is a big thing, especially being a car enthusiast, is there are so many different directions you can take these cars in. People build them to be time attack cars, drag cars, drift cars. There are so many different things you could do, so many different parts available. Anything or any direction you want to take your Miata in, you can. Like I said, there's people that drift, drag them, time attack. These cars are built to do so many different things, and they have such a variety of different parts available that literally anything that you put your mind to, you can do. The direction you can take your Miata in is pretty endless. Like I said, you could do so many different things with it, and that's such an appealing factor with this car, because for what I want to do with this car is not limited. You can, you know, the next person you ask might want to do something else. So what I want a fun street car. I don't want like a drag monster. I don't want to drift this. I just want a really fun, quick, enjoyable street car. That's what I'm going to build this for. You know, good tire, lightweight wheels, turbo kit. Just make this car super fun to drive. But you might ask the next person if they want to swap it, you know, put a V8 in it, make 500-600 horsepower and make it into a drag monster, and then ask a third person and they want to drift it, they want to slide this car. Or then you ask somebody else and they want to do a time attack. You get me? So there's so many different directions these cars could go in, and that's such an appealing factor when it comes to these cars, that you can do literally anything that comes into your head. You can do it, apply it, and it'll probably work really well. And guys, the final reason number 7, why you should buy a Miata is you get what you pay for in this car. It's so worth the money. There's so many different things that you can do, and one of the most important things when buying a car is you want to get your money's worth. And there are many cars out there, from privately owned old cars to cars at a dealer that are brand new, old. It doesn't matter that you spend your money and you don't enjoy what you're driving. And the thing with the Miata is, no matter how much you spend, if you want to spend, you know, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 on a Miata, you will get your money's worth. And that's the most important thing I think about this car, that no matter how much you spend, the condition that the car is in, you'll get your money's worth because you're going to enjoy the car. I don't know if I've ever met somebody that says they didn't enjoy driving a Miata. And that's why I made like the whole, you know, the hype surrounding the Miata video, because there is a lot of hype around this car. A lot of people say they're one of the best driver cars for the money and for what you're spending and whatnot. And honestly, I can see it now. I can see why people love driving these cars so much, because they're so much fun. Every single penny that you put into it, it's not wasted. And the fact that I got a clean example of one, I just can't wait to just start doing aftermarket work to it, from the suspension, the wheels, all of that. And I know it's going to be worth it. I know I'm not going to regret spending the money on this car. And that's one of the best things, that if you do end up buying one, you're not going to regret the money that you spend on them. They're so much fun to drive that you're never going to think twice, oh, should I do this, should I do that? Because you know every single mod, every single thing you do to this car is going to increase the enjoyment, the fun factor that this car possesses. And honestly, being a car guy myself, you don't want to drive boring cars. I mean, sometimes you do if it's going to be a daily, but if you want, you know, a car that you're going to put money into, you don't want to dump money into a car that you regret because it's not fun. This is a car, I promise you, if you buy, will never be boring when you drive, even if you decide to keep it stock. If you're somebody that just wants to do wheels, suspension, just upgrades like that, you don't want it to be faster or whatnot, you'll still have a good time. I've been enjoying this car so much the way it is in its stock form. Everything is stock. Again, guys, everything is stock. I bought a 100% stock Miata, and I've had so much fun with it. I have no words to describe what this car has like opened my mind to. I feel like 10 years ago, when, you know, I was first looking at cars to buy and whatnot, that I would have never owned one of these cars. I've been such a European fanboy that I never thought I'd own a Japanese car, and I'm glad I gave one a chance. I'm glad that I kind of like fell for these cars, you know, looking at them on YouTube and people's builds and what they're doing with them. So anyways, guys, last reason is you will definitely get your money's worth with this car, and I feel like that's the most important factor overall, is that you'll never regret putting a dime into this car ever. So guys, that's going to conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this persuades you if you've had any doubt in your mind that you want to own one of these cars. You don't know if you want to spend the money. You have it and you don't know what to go with. If you've thought of Miata, I would definitely get one. Go for it. They are so much fun. I promise you, you will not regret it. Anybody you talk to that has one or used to own one, I feel like they'll say nothing but good things about it. Yes, there are little quirks, little annoying things that any car possesses, but if you ask me, should you buy a Miata, I will 100% say yes, always. Whether you're buying a beat-up one for $1,000 or you're buying one that has under 50,000 miles for $10,000, whatever direction, whatever condition Miata you want to go with, it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Buy one. They are so much fun. There's so much you could do with them. And honestly, I cannot wait to get started on the aftermarket stuff. I'm waiting on a couple of things for this car in maintenance. I want to get this car like 100% maintenance, like ready to go, so that I'm able to start, you know, modifying it from suspension and wheels to the turbo kit that I'm going to be purchasing hopefully soon. So I want this car to be 100% before I do any kind of aftermarket mods to it. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching another one of my videos. My channel's been doing really well recently, and I super appreciate it. I've been posting a lot more. I've been really getting out and starting to make more videos because, I don't know, it's just super fun to do. And anyways, I'm going to stop rambling, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video to a friend if you know one that would be interested in buying one. Show them this so that maybe it'll persuade them to get one or maybe not to get one, honestly. But anyways, guys, please enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Remember to wash your hands because there's a lot of bad things going on right now in the world. But we'll see you next time. Enjoy. Have a good one.